Tonight on the Electric Playground, Ezio's got some deadly new weapons for his latest adventure. Marvel's pint-sized superhero squad is getting artistic.
Time to rain on Doom's parade.
Today on EP, I'm pulling back the curtain on 3D tech behind some of Hollywood's hottest movies, so don't go anywhere.
We are going to get into the virtual ring once again for WWE 12.
And all swords are pointed skyward for Link's latest adventure. Hey everyone, you're watching the Electric Playground, the show that gives you the latest in everything cool every single day. I'm your host, Briana, and we've got lots of good stuff to talk about today in the rundown, so let's get started. Shooter fans can breathe a sigh of relief because Call of Duty Elite will deploy on the PC after all. Earlier this week, publisher Activision said that the premium subscription service may never see the light of day on computers. Now, the game maker says that it misspoke and that Elite will definitely deploy on the PC sometime in the future. We'll let you know when a firm release date is announced. Call of Duty Elite hit the PS3 and 360 with the release of Modern Warfare 3 on November 8th. It gives players a new way to track their progress, set up matches, watch exclusive videos, and download new in-game content. Filmmaker Tim Burton has a very peculiar new movie on the way. The director behind Alice in Wonderland and the upcoming remake of the supernatural soap opera Dark Shadows has lined up another project. Slash Film reports that Burton is attached to helm a big screen adaptation of the chilling novel Miss Peregrine's Home for Peculiar Children. The book features plenty of creepy pictures and even has a video preview. It follows the story of a special school for children with dark and supernatural powers and should fit nicely with Burton's spooky visual style. There's no word if Burton's frequent collaborator, Johnny Depp, will appear. Burton's Dark Shadows movie, complete with Depp, will haunt theaters in May 2012. And some new casting details on the live-action remake of Akira have come in. According to The Hollywood Reporter, Snow White and the Huntsman star Kristen Stewart has been offered a role in the upcoming film.
Fire!
It's a live-action remake of the classic Japanese anime movie and is also expected to star Tron Legacy player Garrett Hedlund and the Book of Eli villain Gary Oldman. The director of Unknown, Joe Michelet will helm, and shooting is slated to begin next year. We've showed you Snow White and the Huntsman, and now a preview of another Snow White movie has arrived. It's titled Mirror, Mirror and has a more comedic tone than its rival. It features plenty of stylish fairy tale imagery and is the latest project from Immortals director Tarsem Singh. The Social Network and J. Edgar star Armie Hammer plays the dashing young prince with Julia Roberts as the evil queen. Mirror, Mirror will cast a spell on theaters in March 2012. The much darker Snow White and the Huntsman will slay cinemas a few months later. The first batch of downloadable content for Assassin's Creed Revelations has already been announced. It's titled the Ancestors Character Pack and will give players 4 new multiplayer characters: the swashbuckling privateer, the devious corsair, the beautiful yet deadly brigand, and the bloodthirsty gladiator. All 4 come with their own weapons, taunts, and assassination moves, which should come in handy while slaying opponents in ancient Constantinople. The Ancestors Character Pack will arrive next month, and more DLC is expected to follow. Assassin's Creed Revelations is out now on the PS3 and 360 and will slice up the PC on November 29th. We'll have a look at some of the weapons already available in the game later today. The big screen adaptation of the comic book I, Frankenstein has found its main villain. Variety reports that Underworld Rise of the Lycans vampire Bill Nighy is in talks to play the bad guy in the new film. I, Frankenstein is based on a comic series created by Underworld co-writer Kevin Grevioux and sees the misunderstood monster defend the world from even scarier supernatural creatures. Battle Los Angeles star Aaron Eckhart will play the monstrous hero when shooting begins in January 2012. I, Frankenstein is set to hit theaters a year later on February 22nd, 2013. The new Steven Soderbergh movie Haywire will have plenty of good old-fashioned violence. The film has been given an R rating by the Motion Picture Association of America. The producers had originally sought a less violent PG-13 rating, but it seems the MPAA thinks the movie is too intense. Haywire stars MMA fighter Gina Carano as a spy betrayed by her commanders. It boasts an all-star supporting cast that includes Ewan McGregor, Channing Tatum, Antonio Banderas, Michael Fassbender, Michael Douglas, and Bill Paxton. It will smash into theaters on January 20th, 2012, and we'll have more on the film before then. And the classic science fiction movie World on a Wire will come to Blu-ray and DVD for the first time ever. It's a West German film from the early 70s that deals with surprisingly modern themes like cybernetics and online addiction. World on a Wire follows a group of engineers who create a virtual world inside a computer. It's never been released on a home video format before. The discs will offer a new HD restoration and behind-the-scenes content when they arrive on February 21st, 2012. Sci-fi fans may want to lock their phasers on the new documentary Trek Nation. It's about the life of Star Trek creator Gene Roddenberry and is directed by his son, Rod. The film chronicles the legacy and impact of Star Trek and features interviews with people who've been inspired by the franchise like Stan Lee, George Lucas, and J.J. Abrams. Trek Nation beams down soon and we'll have more on the film in the coming weeks. J.J. Abrams is currently working on a sequel to his 2009 Trek adventure, scheduled to begin shooting in January 2012. The writers behind two recent comic book movies are now working on a regular book. Thor and X-Men first-class screenwriters Ashley Miller and Zach Stentz have inked a deal with Penguin Books to publish a heroic novel. Deadline reports that the book follows the story of a super-intelligent high school student who solves crimes, and there are already plans to turn it into a film. Expect more details soon.
You ready for this? Let's find out.
And the irreverent animated series South Park is going to be around for at least another 5 years. The show has been renewed for 3 more seasons on top of the ones already in the pipe, which will keep it on the air until 2016. That means South Park will cross the coveted 20th season mark. South Park is created by Matt Stone and Trey Parker and has earned critical acclaim for its crude and topical humor.
He took it, girl! Took it, girl!
The 15th season just wrapped, and the next will begin airing in April 2012.
That's right.
Up next, wrestling legends face off, and a new Legend of Zelda soars in. Welcome back to the Electric Playground. Yesterday on the show, we celebrated the 25th anniversary of The Legend of Zelda by telling you about the old games in the franchise and by attending the live symphony concert. Well, today we're going to look into the future and learn about Skyward Sword.
Matt, this is a huge year for The Legend of Zelda. It's the 25th anniversary, and we're capping it off with the release of The Legend of Zelda Skyward Sword. What are you most excited about for this game?
Well, The Legend of Zelda 25th anniversary has been an exciting year ever since the beginning of the year when it actually happened. And Legend of Zelda Skyward Sword's an amazing experience. The controls are amazing. They feel great. And to be honest, Mr. Aonuma and Mr. Miyamoto, this is their fantasy to bring Zelda to life, with the Wii Remote actually becoming your sword and your nunchuck actually becoming your shield and all the different ways to use the weapons. It just feels right, it feels real, and Wii Motion Plus is the only technology that can deliver that. So when you're holding that Wii Remote, it is your sword, and it's awesome. The other new thing that's available is the way you experience some of the other things. So keep in mind, bombs aren't new, but the way that you use them is new for this game. So you can actually bowl them or toss them like a basketball. So if you played Wii Sports Resort and you got your training, that's how you're going to play better at Legend of Zelda Skyward Sword, because there's very similar elements with some of those weapons.
No one wants to play against me in Wii Sports Resort, by the way. I am so good at the basketball game and the sword play. I think I'm going to kill Legend of Zelda Skyward Sword.
You're going to be extremely busy this weekend because that's when all swords will point skyward. Now it's time to enter the ring for a look at WWE 12. Believe it or not, they've reinvented the franchise this time around. Jose's joined by the creative director, and keep your eyes peeled for a diva.
Talking about a brand new era for the WWE games, WWE 12. The SmackDown vs. Raw is gone. What can we expect in this brand new rebirth of the game?
I love the way you phrase that. It is a new era. Like you mentioned, we completely rebooted the franchise. It's much needed. Getting a little stale, a little stagnant. So I think it's long overdue. We have new technology that's been integrated into the game. So really, this is the perfect opportunity to not only rebrand the game. It's no longer called SmackDown vs. Raw, but it's got a new gameplay experience. It's a little more dramatic, a little more intense. We have stuff like comeback moments and wake-up taunts. It's really a lot of TLC that went into gameplay, making sure that everything is holistic. It feels polished, it feels clean, it feels tight together.
And how much bigger and badder and better is the roster going to be for this game? Because I know a lot of fans out there are looking forward to seeing each year who you guys add to the game. What can we expect this year?
It's one of the biggest rosters. I'm not going to go out and say it's the biggest, because I don't believe it is, but it's one of the biggest that we've ever had. But I think it's the most epic.
Kelly, we're talking about WWE, brand new game.
Yeah.
What can we expect from the video game side of you this time around, now that you're a champ?
I've actually seen it, and it's pretty insane. The entrance, everything is to a T. Me, I'm walking down, I do my woo, and just the way I get in the ring, everything, it's like to a T me. It's crazy how perfect they got my character this time, and it's so much better than the previous years, so I'm so happy with it.
Who are you looking forward to getting into the virtual ring and fighting?
Well, there's two things I'd really like to do. Number one, I really want to take on The Undertaker. I think he's the best performer of the last 20 years in the WWE. I've not been fortunate enough to step in the ring with him in real life yet, so hopefully that'll come soon. And then the other thing is the creator character mode. I'd like to create some of my friends from back in the UK, some of the guys I grew up with. The creator character mode is so realistic, you can literally mold it to make it look exactly like people you know, some of your enemies, or maybe your boss at work or something like that. So I'm really looking forward to creating some people that I know and slapping them around a bit.
Each and every year you guys add something, the fans love, the fans want.
Right.
What are the fans going to get out of WWE 12 this year?
I think really what it is, it's core gameplay. Really, when you first load up that game, you play a one-on-one match, and you feel how polished the game experience is, how tight it is, how authentic it is to programming. You start to see those cool camera angles. It's going to feel like a new experience. So I think that's the first thing fans are going to gravitate towards and really just be excited about.
The realism, drama, and intensity of WWE 12 arrives next week, and we'll hit you up with more EP Today right after this. Up next, dancing penguins invade the Sonar, and Ezio rearms with some deadly new weapons. You're back here at the Electric Playground for more Hot Templar Nights. All week long in our feature series, we've been exploring the world of Constantinople as seen in Assassin's Creed Revelations. And today, it's all about the weapons, mainly the hook blade.
One of the best things about the Assassin's Creed series, as far as I'm concerned, are all the weapons and the cool combat styles we get to use. What are we seeing in Assassin's Creed Revelations?
Well, we're keeping all the same basic systems for this one. We have a lot of new weapons that are specific to the area, of course. A lot more swords that are from the Middle East, Turkey, Persia, and beyond. You're going to see a lot more variety in that respect. We have a new implement, the hook blade, which helps him in combat and navigation. On the combat side of things, it leads to a lot more wicked kill animations. You use the hook blade to actually steal from people in the middle of combat, so you can actually earn money and health and upgrades as you're fighting. For those people who kind of want a little bit of a ramp up of difficulty, we didn't change the combat so much as we introduced a new unit called the Janissaries, and they were historically the Sultan's elite guard. They are very tough. They can counter all your counters. You have to actually approach them carefully. Even people who are quite good at the game, if they get teamed up on by 2 or more Janissaries, sometimes they go down.
When you're working on a game like an Assassin's Creed title where people who are fans, they expect a certain amount of combat or a certain style of combat, how do you approach adding new things in while still maintaining that original appeal?
One of the big things you have to make sure is that it's a good systemic addition, meaning that it's not going to be so unique that you can only use it in one place. You have to make sure that it's an ingredient that has a broad application. So the hook blade, we made sure that, okay, you're going to be climbing with it, you're going to be going across zip lines with it, you're going to be using it in combat to trip people and stomp on their face. Same with the bomb crafting system. Some of them are lethal, some of them are tactical. The bombs themselves are an ingredient that you can use a number of ways. We have all these tiny little ingredients that, even though on the surface, when you look at it maybe in a trailer and you say, like, yeah, that reminds me of Assassin's Creed, what's under the hood is quite different. It's a gestalt, right? It's more than the sum of its parts.
You can power up your console anytime to find out what's under the hood of Revelations, and now it's time for the Sonar. It gets a little slow at the box office in the lead up to the American Thanksgiving, but there are a couple of new releases to tell you about. First up, return to Antarctica in 3D for the sequel to the Oscar-winning animated film Happy Feet.
Come on, son, let's shake this world.
In film number 2, Elijah Wood once again voices the world's most famous tap-dancing penguin, only this time he has a son that is trying to find his way in the world.
A penguin who can fly.
As with most animated films, the list of voice actors is extensive and includes favorites like Robin Williams, Hank Azaria, and Matt Damon and Brad Pitt star as Will and Bill the Krill.
We've got to get on the ride.
Now from Antarctica to Hawaii, where more Oscar winners have surfaced, director Alexander Payne, known for the award-winning film Sideways, returns with another emotional journey in The Descendants.
Just trying to keep my head above water.
It is set in Hawaii and exclusively features Hawaiian music. The film follows George Clooney's character as he comes to the realization that although he has spent his whole life providing for his family, he hasn't always been there for them.
Maybe if he spent more time with her, she wouldn't act like such a complete spaz.
Now, with his wife in a coma, he has no choice but to step up. And family is also the theme behind the latest film in the Twilight Saga. Breaking Dawn Part 1 has vampire enthusiasts lining up at cinemas everywhere to catch a glimpse of Edward and Bella's bloodsucker baby.
Can this happen?
You probably don't have any plans to see Twilight this weekend, so I suggest you just avoid theaters altogether. You can stay home and catch up on episodes of EP. We have tons online on our new website, and we'll return with more after the break. Up next, the Superhero Squad is drawing some action, and new 3D technology is popping off screens. Welcome back to the Electric Playground. Reality Technica is a company working hard to make sure it's easy for filmmakers to create 3D movies. In fact, their technology is currently being used on the set of Peter Jackson's upcoming Hobbit films.
Let's talk technology. What are some of the things that you guys have developed here to create a 3D experience in the movie theater?
3D movies have been around a long time. They've been in the theme parks for a while, and then, there were some really early experiments in the 50s and the 70s that just tore your eyes out. We made a lot of technologies that solved the problems. The problems were it's too expensive to shoot 3D because in the old days, you could get 5 shots in a day. Well, that's really great for a theme park or a museum, but you can't make a movie that way. It just doesn't work. So we made the equipment lighter, accurate, faster, and it's all done through a lot of image processing, image analysis, and a lot of algorithms and a whole lot of guys sitting there writing code.
Looks so good.
One of the complaints in the past was 3D rigs, they're so big and they're so heavy. Well, if you're doing a shot and the director goes, yeah, let's start the camera here and we'll fly it here and we'll come into the window. Oh, that's a great shot. But that's 2 days of rigging with a 300-pound camera because that's a lot of weight. There's commercial grip gear that lets us do those shots instantly as long as everything's lightweight.
So with the camera doing the help as well, you don't need me to do much.
We actually use cameras that people are used to using. In broadcast, they use a lot of Sony cameras, Grass Valley cameras, Panasonic cameras. So these robots, these mechanical devices we build, hold those cameras. What we do is we build the framework around the equipment that crews are really used to working with.
What are some examples of some 3D movies that have come out, yours or not yours, that you feel are a good example of how 3D is well utilized?
Avatar was a big splash in the market because it used the depth to help tell the story. If you see Avatar in 2D, it's not the same story as it is in 3D. And it's really, when it's integrated that well, it works. I think you've yet to see the best that's being done. What Peter Jackson is doing with The Hobbit is amazing. Jack the Giant Killer will be amazing. Gatsby, even if it's a drama, which I'm really excited about, will be amazing in depth because they're using the depth to tell a story.
You almost feel like you're in it.
We are definitely looking forward to the upcoming Hobbit films, and earlier this week on EP, we showed off the uDraw GameTablet and told you about Pictionary Ultimate Edition. Now Shaun is here to let you know about another game that's compatible with the device.
We've seen the Superhero Squad in action in video games before, but not quite like this. What's happening in Marvel Superhero Squad Comic Combat?
This time around, you're the artist. So we've got the uDraw tablet. You use your tablet to draw onto the comic page. It's a 6-issue series that you have to create. And the cool thing is that the heroes realize that you're drawing in their universe. So they take you on as a squad member and break that fourth wall to engage you and ask for help.
Okay, Secret Squaddy, time to rain on Doom's parade.
So the whole story revolves around you using the stylus by drawing into the world, helping the heroes. You could draw where you want Captain America to throw his shield or where Hulk smashes, all those cool things. So it's a really fun way to play in this universe in a way we haven't done before.
What are some of the challenges of creating a game with such a unique input method and with such a unique gameplay mechanic?
Well, one of the major challenges, of course, is getting the control right for all age groups. And the thing that is unique is this is really the first time that a console player can almost have an RTS-like experience, have that fidelity of telling their characters exactly where they should go on screen. So we really had to spend a lot of time to make that feel natural, being able to click where you want the characters to go, to be able to draw objects into the world. So that took a little doing, but we're really happy with the way it turned out.
What are some of the challenges in coming up with all these different ideas of what the player can draw and what they can't draw in the game?
We had to go through a laundry list of what glyphs worked well. So we created our own language of drawing. The X's and triangles and circles seem to be the best to draw, that work really well for people who are just kind of picking it up for the first time and playing.
What do you think players are going to really love about this game?
The unique controls, I think. We built it from the ground up to use the tablet. It's not your typical action-adventure game in the sense that you're just going from puzzle to puzzle. You can really be creative with how you use the tools. There's a lot of fun to be had mixing and matching all the drawing elements together.
The Thunder Doom is going critical.
I've kind of got my own squad of superheroes around here. They work hard day and night to bring you the latest in everything cool. Here's a look at what they're building for you now. On the next Electric Playground, Harry Potter's final adventure hits Blu-ray.
In the next episode of EP, I'm talking about dinosaurs, fossils, and Koopas in the Sonar.
And coming soon to EP, we've got all the coolest toys for the upcoming holiday season. If you missed anything in the show or you just want to watch it again, you can visit us at g4tv.ca or go to our website at electplay.com. You can also follow us on Twitter under electplay and find us on Facebook under Electric Playground. And because I know you're just dying to see it, I'm going to leave you with a look at World of Warcraft Mists of Pandaria. Enjoy it. I'll see you next time.
For all the challenges we have faced, and all the places we have been, Azeroth's limits have yet to be revealed.